Brigadier General Alexei Kromov let us know today in Telegram that the armed forces of Ukraine established a control over Yatskovka. But that is not it. We're getting reports today from Telegram that the Ukrainian forces have penetrated through the Russian lines near Lyman. In two different places. There are even reports of a Russian unit surrounded near Lyman. Let's jump to the military map. The northern front, right? This map hasn't updated, but this here is Lyman. Today, Ukrainians reportedly penetrated through here like that. They are threatening to surround Lyman like that, cutting it off from the rest of the Russian forces. Russians want to avoid that, so they might want to pull out of Lyman tonight or tomorrow, meaning Ukraine could liberate Lyman without a fight. This map doesn't show this also, but this is Yatskovka. Ukraine liberated this settlement right here. And that is not it, they actually penetrated through the Russian lines here also, like that. As you watch this video with a few hours delay, Ukrainians are possibly forcing on Gaprivka, this settlement right here. These two penetrations, what could happen if Ukraine wants to connect them like that, they could cut off the entire Russian contingent here. Russians want to avoid this, meaning they might pull out tonight or tomorrow, meaning Ukraine will liberate this area, perhaps without a fight. What about the unit that is supposedly surrounded? See, this here is Drubizhne. This is Lyman. Ukraine has pushed through here. They have also pushed through here like that. Now they supposedly have connected like that, surrounding the Russian unit in Drubizhne. This all comes from Telegram and it is officially unconfirmed. But if true, then this small penetration in these two areas on the northern front could start another domino effect for the Russians. We have seen it once, it is incredibly effective, we might see it again. This is the city of Donetsk. This city has been occupied from 2014. Today Russians pulled into this city with a whole train filled with their T-64 tanks, which have been stored away for tens of years. Now they have been brought to the front to fight against Ukraine because Russia is running out of modern tanks. Immediately this train pulled into the station in Donetsk, local Ukrainians let the armed forces of Ukraine know what's going on, and in minutes the train was hit with Ukrainian artillery, destroying almost the entire train carrying T-64 tanks. A huge loss for Russia. If you concentrate tens of tanks onto one train like that, only 2 kilometers from the front, this is the outcome. Today, my friends, we actually have a sponsor. I've been working out more in the past 6 months and I've noticed that my eating habits include too little protein. This is where Magic Spoon helps me out. I eat breakfast every morning and before it was a bunch of unhealthy sugars, but now with Magic Spoon I can eat tasty, protein-rich breakfast cereal. One portion of Magic Spoon cereal have 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 to 5 net grams of carbs. It's only 140 calories per serving. Click the link below to get some Magic Spoon cereal today. I hit the gym about 3 to 4 times a week, and after every time I like to have immediately one of Magic Spoon cereal bars. Magic Spoon cereal bars have 1 gram of sugar, 10 grams of protein, 4 net grams of carbs and only 130 calories per bar. They're also keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free and low-carb. Hell yeah. You can build your very own variety box, which is the perfect quick breakfast or snack for back-to-school season. Be sure to use my code Estonian69 to get $5 off. You can choose from many best-selling flavors, which include cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, cookies and cream, and maple waffles. You can also now add cereal bars to your variety box. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like this for any reason, they'll refund you your money, no questions asked. So click the link in the description below and use the code Estonian69 to get $5 off. Or go to magicspoon.com/Estonian69 to get $5 off of your order. Mobilization is happening big time in Russia right now, and we are seeing first videos of mobilized being gathered together, forced into the buses or planes and being transported. For example, in this video, a woman screams out the name of the mobilized who then enters the bus. A yellow bus which has the Russian word "deti" on it, which means children. Russian armed forces, at least in this city, use a school bus to transport the mobilized onto the front. In this video we see a proof of the fact that Russia has not kept its mobilization infrastructure intact. One of the vital links of any mass mobilization is sleeping areas, staging areas, barracks and so on. There are even no beds here. Soldiers can sleep on the ground, yes, but it will lower the morale of the troops. And it is Russia, things are happening slow. There's a lot of standing around, not hours, but days and weeks of standing around, perhaps sleeping on the ground like that for a week. Then we have a serious morale problem. In this video we can see the mood of the mobilized and the attitude of their immediate superiors. Treating them like they're not human, humiliating them, threatening them. The mobilized men in this room are angry as can be seen. Time will tell if this anger will result in any kind of action against their immediate superiors. In this video we can see multiple mobilization buses standing in a line and a group of mobilized Russian citizens who have managed to get drunk already. This is the quality of the future Russian army after this mobilization. This man is a 63-year-old retired Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Yermolayev from Volgograd region. He says that he has been called up to fight in Ukraine. He suffers from diabetes and he said that nobody checked him up, no doctors, no medical examination. They just said he's fit for service and he has to go. By the words of Vladimir Putin, officers of his rank will be mobilized only up to 55-year-olds, but he is 63 years old and he still got the letter and is already in a staging area. He has diabetes. He will be a liability on the battlefield. But this is what Russia doesn't care about. It shows that they want cannon fodder. He said that they were told that they will be trained for 2 weeks and then will be collected. If the 2 weeks is only the training they get, they will be sent basically without training. 2 weeks is not enough to do anything. There was a UN meeting discussing the Russian invasion of Ukraine after the mobilization. Most countries condemned Russian invasion and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov walked out of the meeting. After which the Ukrainian Foreign Minister said these words: "I noticed that Russian diplomats flee almost as quickly as Russian soldiers." Well said, my friend, well said. Ukraine and Russia have exchanged prisoners. They recently made the biggest prisoner exchange yet. Ukraine got back over 200 Azovstal defenders, which include 5 officers from Azov battalion and the leader of the Azov battalion. Ukraine gave Russia in return Medvedchuk, Putin's personal friend, an oligarch, and some other prisoners. This was done in the shadow of mobilization news because Russia did not want the news to go public in Russia. Because this act goes directly against the Russian propaganda that they have been building up for their own people in the past 6 months. We have all heard the stories about Russia needs to liberate Ukraine from Nazis, and this has been one of Russia's biggest propaganda points. And capturing these fighters is the biggest win in front of Russian people. We captured the Nazis. We will never let them go. We are the good guys. And now they just let them go like that. This shows the Russian propaganda narrative is hollow inside and it's breaking down in front of everybody's eyes. Russian people and Russian military bloggers are really angry at this trade. In their eyes, Russia took one of the only victories they have and gave it away. Local Telegram channels report that Uzbekistan has stopped accepting Russian Mir cards. Russian Mir cards are already refused in Turkey, Kazakhstan, Vietnam, Armenia. There's no Visa, there's no MasterCard or any of the Western card companies. There's no Chinese card companies because they bailed. If this goes on in a few months, Russians can only use gold and cash. Great Britain has a new Prime Minister, Liz Truss. She addressed the UN meeting in New York with these words: "I pledge that we will sustain or increase our military support to Ukraine for as long as it takes." As much as I know, this woman is pretty fierce. And I'm glad to see Britain is still supporting Ukraine after this change of power. Putin said that people who work for the factories who produce materials for the military, for example ammunition, rockets, weaponry, they won't be mobilized because they're already connected to the military. We have a report of the Krunichev State Space Research and Production Center in Moscow. Their employees got the mobilization letter. This factory makes missiles, rockets, one of the most important things for the Russian military right now. If Russia is mobilizing such vital, essential workers, they are themselves destroying the ability to produce new weapons and new rockets and missiles. They're sending the workers to the front, which I don't understand. This is shooting yourself in the foot. They must be able to see this. The dictator of Chechnya, Ramzan Kadyrov, said that the mobilization will not extend to Chechnya because they have already exceeded their targets. The wording here is so weird because the Soviets had execution quotas, deporting quotas, mobilization quotas. If he uses these words, exceeded its targets, exceeded its quotas, yes, Kadyrov has sent Chechen men to die in Ukraine, and apparently they have already filled up their quotas. Russia can mobilize 300,000 men, maybe they will mobilize more, we have different reports about that. Yes, you can mobilize cannon fodder, but someone needs to lead these men. And officers, their training takes a lot of time. I cannot for the hell of me find where Russia is pulling out the men to lead these new units. Officer training takes years. Today, fake referendums started in Russian-occupied Donetsk, Luhansk and Kherson region to connect them to the Russian Federation. In this video, a lonely Russian propagandist is screaming on the mic that everyone has to come out and join the referendum and vote. But unfortunately nobody wants to come out, so she is left sad and alone on the street. After today, Russia will annex these areas, giving Russia more power over this war legally in Russia. I mean, Ukraine doesn't care. They will liberate these areas if they're part of Russian Federation or part of separatist nations. But for Russia, they supposedly now have right to use nuclear weapons because Ukraine is attacking Russian soil. We will see what happens. Whatever happens, I will bring you the news, my friends. Thank you for staying with me. If you like what I do, Patreon link is in the description, as well as Knock 'em Out Cold merch. Until my next video, Slava Ukraini!